So welcome to this promo video for CRJ200 Blue Sky Star Simulation Soundpack. All sounds are recorded with help of our true pilots, real-world pilots in the United States flying on CRJ200. All switches, all selectors, all push buttons, everything that pushes works in this aircraft and has its own specific sound. All avionics work correctly. You have the relay sound available when you're switching bus's power, as well as the door is simulated to the sound. Currently the avionic air outside heard. Here the nose gear bay. If you start APU with the door open, the sound will be slightly different. I mean, not slightly, but even more different than the door closed. The APU will be heard in the back of the cabin more, and of course near the open door. We have simulated the bleed valves working correctly in this aircraft. So you can hear that hissing sound comes on. That means the air, when it comes on, that means the air is pushing through these closed valves. On this old aircraft, the valves are giving a little bit air. So you'll hear this hissing sound when the APU started. And this is the real aircraft, same thing you can hear. Now we're closing the valves. You can hear the sounds because the actual packs are on right now. Now we're opening them and it comes through it. Also, all these hydraulic pumps are simulated in our Soundpack as well. For example, if you turn on the 3A pumps, you'll hear that noise. Typical. And 1A and 2A. As well as the outside, you can hear them. The outside flaps are different than the inside flaps, of course. And we have the simulation of Icmp system that we'll show you later. That has to be either of IDG has to be connected in order Icmp to work. The outside airport sounds could be turned on. It's a huge loop file. It's an about hour of loop, so you'll hear whole airport environment for at least an hour, and then comes back to loop. You'll hear aircraft taking off, landing. You'll hear aircraft approaching. You'll hear some general ramp sounds. Simulated all the testing in this aircraft, most of it, to the extent we could. Oxygen test is all separate, could be tied to any button on your joystick or keyboard. So there are GPW tests, there's general system RO test, oxygen test, as well as stall test, fire test. Also you can hear, you can assign buttons to passenger boarding.
Jet pipe overheat. Gear bay overheat. Smoke. Bleed air duct. Anti-ice duct.
Now this is when you press the passengers boarding sound. You can hear them walking around the cabin and thumping with their feet on the floor and speaking, talking. All these buttons are described in the menu and how to assign them. Also there's another passengers speaking. When you press seatbelt signs to on, their sound of passengers comes on, to auto, I'm sorry. And then when you press it to off or to on, they will fade. That you can also control through plug-in menu Sound 3D volume, which is called flight attendant in cabin in airport. The outside of APU has all 360. You can hear exhaust on the right side of the aircraft where it's supposed to be at, so it's kind of different that side. Few months it was spent on working on engine sounds for this aircraft, and it's modeled exactly as it is in the real world, outside and inside. All tones, all volumes, all special sound samples, everything. It's just like in real aircraft. You can watch videos, numerous videos on the YouTube and compare, and guaranteed that it will be sounding the same exact as CRJ200 engines. Now this is the Icmp sound. You can hear it just turned off after flaps was at 0. Other than 0 flaps with IDG connected, you can hear these AC motor pumps coming on with an extra sound, as well as when you test your flight controls. For dramatization in this video, I have turned up the engine sounds a little bit up. In real aircraft, in cockpit, there's not much of the engines you can hear, but of course we are in a sim and most of our customers would like to hear that, but you can control it via the Sound 3D and your plugins slider, engine slider, and turn to realistic sound engine for that aircraft. Currently it's set to 85. In a real aircraft that would be somewhat around 50. All the ground sounds are available. All the flight control sounds, all the gear sounds, everything. You can hear the gear rattling after you take off. The front gear is still rotating. You'll hear gear up, gear down sounds. You'll hear the doors, gear doors closing. You'll hear the speed brakes extension sound, that bass sound. 3 different sounds for rolling. Pretty much on every speed you'll hear loops of sounds that are that you cannot tell they're repeating because they're made so in that way. And of course CRJ engine sounds. Also can hear the front gear rolling on the runway as it's speeding up. And different bump sounds. As a red sound for the front gear. Gear up. Hear resonance if your throttles are not in the same exact positions. That's something that you will hear in this aircraft, and it's modeled the same way.